And yay, we're live. Okay, we're live but not recording. Just give me a sec. I need to prepare. Okay, this one is done. This one is done. Almost ready. You know, I have a guy at work who has exactly the same setup. I actually don't know about amplifier, but the microphone exactly the same. So we are each one in one. It's like pleasure.
Do you use this microphone for work as well?
Of course, yes. You know, and you can do stuff like, like, you know, on the meetings, or you know, when you want to comment on someone designs ideas. Okay, we just give me a sec. Let's start recording. Otherwise, it's precious. It's precious. 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Non-Intuitive Beats podcast. I think it's episode 77, brought to you by the Leaders Club, that you are also part to if you're listening to us, but do consider elevating your club membership by joining our Discord channel. And today in this virtual studio with me, we have Dmitry Mananikov. Say hi to people.
Hello everyone.
And as usual, the most annoying voice that you're hearing right now is from me, Slava Kovalevsky. We have a small laugh on pre-show, so yes, do consider coming to the pre-show about the audio setup. And I just realized, my friend, I forgot to mention, so in my setup, I this week have broke down my earphones. So my earphones completely disassembled. And when it's disassembled, part of it actually went to the keyboard and broke the keyboard. That is a hilarious moment. And by the way, spoiler alert, my wife, she's amazing, and she fixed everything. Like literally, she took out my earphones, she took out the keyboard, she opened the keyboard, she everything works. Like I cannot thank her enough about what she did. But in the process, I ordered the new earphone. Because, you know, I didn't know about her generosity to actually go and fix everything for me. And I ordered a headphone that costs 1.5x from my current one. It was earphone HiFiMan something that I just Googled what are the best earphone in my budget. They came, and I just cannot express how bad they are.
Is it the same company, same brand that you have, or different?
No. I actually wasn't able to find mine because I bought them quite some time ago. So I'm going to find the earphone that I actually have ordered. So this one that I'm using, I literally wasn't able to find the exactly same brand. It's so old, and I do remember that time I did a lot of research to make sure that within my budget I would be buying the best headphones I can. And as quite often is the case, if you want to stay within the budget but to have a really high quality, you will get some no name or something. That's exactly what I get. I think my budget was 300. I get an amazing, less than 300. I got an amazing one. I love them. This time I allocated something like 400 to 500, and I found this option. Let me show it actually. This option of a HiFiMan Sundara hi-fi headphone.
They have like open sound design.
Open sound. Tell me, what is open sound?
You know, when like some headphones has an opened part, so there is a different sound profile. I'm not really a professional in this area, but I know there's like a closed headphones and open headphones. Usually you can see a mesh on the side for open headphones.
Okay, so this one then open because you can see a mesh on the side of those.
Yeah.
Jesus, like I hate this website. So first of all, you know, the first signal that should signal me that something is wrong. You see their price 500 and they're selling for 239.
Okay.
And to be fair, when I was buying them, they were selling for 299, so they already less than they were selling, and supposedly their price is 500. So first of all, I read some other review that says that recommended this specific model, So what you can do. You can just read and random stuff on the website. That was I did. Then I found the discount. So like, okay, it's a discount on Amazon, and I have an article that says buy them. So I bought them. I honestly cannot comprehend how you can have a day-night experience versus my old headphones. Like, it's so horrible, just horrible.
Like, is it horrible for all sounds, or for music, or like for what?
So first of all, I also show it to my wife. Again, huge thank you for rescuing me in this situation. I just literally, because I didn't believe she's that type of the person that usually would not stress about quality of the sound. So in many cases she would not recognize, and she just doesn't care in many detailed nuances. So I just gave her to listen both of them, and it was day and night. Mostly you can feel immediately from how sensitive they are. They are so insensitive that it almost, and I shit you not, it almost 3 times quieter on the same level of sound. So I have a broadcast, Jesus, they don't have a name. Rode Podcaster Pro, I think. This is like stuff for the podcasting with amplifiers, everything built in. This is the first headphones where I not only had to tune the level of the volume to the max, I actually had to go to a special settings that says enable additional amplification, that shows you warning that this might damage your ears if you do so. And when I clicked that, I was able to make it sound reasonably.
Could it be that, I don't know, again, I don't really understand how it all works, but could it that they require different specs, like some maybe higher resistance, higher voltage, or something like this?
So yes, this is what I'm telling to you is some legwork that I did, but my first reaction was, okay, fine. There is indeed sensitive and non-sensitive headphones, and for non-sensitive you need to hire amplifier, and that's fine. That's as expected. But this was just the comparison that's easy to explain. But if you would listen to them, if you would tune it to the same level, that actually same, and even listen, let's say, a low frequency basses on both of them, it's also day and night. They were not able to produce basses at all. I have no clue about other parts. When I just listened to some of the music that I had, I just stopped it, I disconnected it, and I was so happy. Then next day my old earphones was working. That's just and to be
when I was buying my headphones, I was looking for the lightest, so I just sorted everything by weight and tried to pick the lightest one.
But you are the same as I am. You have a motorcycle. Why do you care? Like, you have a helmet that you wear for hours.
I don't like when it's like, I don't feel comfortable when I have like heavy things in my head for a long time, especially headphones. Otherwise, I would just use my Beats headphones. Bluetooth is okay for me, but they too heavy.
By the way, I specifically was searching for wire-full, so not the wireless, wire headphones without the sound, noise cancelling, without anything, because the full price should go to the sound quality. Beats is nice, but the biggest problem that I have with Beats is that you cannot have a high quality audio through the Bluetooth. So you
have to connect wire if you need.
Exactly, yes. But the Beats compensating them by having its profile tuned for very specific music, so that specific music will sound reasonably even if you don't have a wire. Which is like a nice trade-off, especially they have your bass tuned up. They literally changing they have a predefined hard-coded equalizer, so to speak. So yeah, that's what I love and hate in the Beats at the same time. Anyway, we started from the wrong topics, but my friend, I saw you added several. Can I have one more very quick before we
of course, proceed? Yes. I just added them when there's nothing in the list.
I didn't want to interject, but yes, we will jump to both of them. But first, I want to say that my company, when I'm working, Cruise Automation, have released a very detailed report about what has happened in October.
Ooh, nice.
It is several hundred pages, and
You lost my attention. So what is he? Luckily, we have you, so you can actually tell us what's in this document.
yeah, now I finally can speak, obviously with the scope that described on this document. I studied left and right to be prepared, so to speak. And, you know, as everything in this world, there is no one single-sided answer. It was tons of the stuff that just have happened to impact the way how we crews are communicated with the DMV and other government bodies. One of the conclusions that specifically written down in the report that it was failure of the leadership and some other teams to formalize and establish proper processes communication with the government bodies. And you can read from the report how, for example, in the communication channel, when everything have happened, one of our senior members, and by the way, one thing that impressed me, that the report has not only tons of the copy-paste of Slack, internal Slack messages, it has very specific names of senior people, what they have said, what they have did. So it's not just, generic wishy-washy report of someone messed up. It's actually very concrete. That's why it's 200 pages, because it literally have copy-pasted of Slack messages of people. In fact, when I saw that, I just in case, search my name. And Matt Wood effectively was one of the senior leaders that is part of this report, left and right. And on the page, I think 100, something around 100, and I'm not going to non-verbatim to say what's in the report. It says that Matt Wood was senior person from the Eng side. He never should have been on the critical path of communication. He was neither qualified nor trained to do the job. And on the day of the event, he was showing to some of the government body records from the cameras. And there was even Wi-Fi problems. Looked like he was working remote from some remote location. There was Wi-Fi problem. He was streaming. So there is so many things that some of them is luck, some of them is weird, but I don't want to speculate. I hardly would advise to read the report. I probably wouldn't be able to say much more than that, mostly because, again, I need to make sure that I'm not deviating from any of the parts of the report, because, the worst problem when you're trying to speculate about this, you're saying something, and then people will
get on another report.
Exactly, yes, and people will assume what you have said, not exactly what you have said. Now report is out, so I'm at liberty to say a little bit more, but it's
I think it's interesting to see this kind of like role play, what's going on, and to learn on these mistakes as well.
Absolutely, yes, and the whole idea to be fully transparent. This report, I think, at least for me, shows how transparent we are right now, because I was not expecting this level of details being made public. I never have seen it.
It's like in American movies, everything you say can and will be used against you.
Come on, man, it's no longer a movie, it's your life. It's my life as well. It's America. Okay, with that, let's go to your topics. You have a book that you added. I'm eager to hear more.
Oh yeah, it's called The Quantum Thief. It's made by Finnish author Hannu Rajaniemi, I think. I don't know how to pronounce Finnish names, actually. It's interesting example of like modern sci-fi. Mm-hmm. There's a few things that I really like about this book. First, after built like a sci-fi world, it's like distant future of humanity. Mm-hmm. No aliens, but still like very distant, when humanity split on a few fractions and so on. And book itself, it's more like a detective genre. You can think about Arsène Lupin books or Sherlock Holmes, like he inspired. And essentially everything else just a setting for that. Like what I like about it, and I see a lot of comments that people hate it, that After didn't really do a job by to guide you in this world. This book looks more like it's just regular detective book written in that future world instead of sci-fi book written in our time. So after I use a lot of terms, a lot of like specific things, and at first it's very hard to get through them because it sounds like a blabberish. But over time you start understanding from from context. And after actually did a great job. Like the whole world is coherent, and a lot of things he describes actually based on today, like new science revelations, like a blockchain, for example. There is a society built on privacy. Everything you do is encrypted in a memory with your root key, and you can share parts of your privacy to other people. Like people don't even see your face and know your name until you let them.
Ooh.
And you can let them to see your face, let them to understand who you are. You can also make a contract so you can have conversation with other person. But after you're done, your boss memories will remove this part of conversation, things like this. I really enjoy it. I was listening Russian version of it. Another interesting story, like at least for me, he used a bunch of not remarks, but cross links with the Russian history as well, and I guess with Finnish a lot, with old classic Russian literature, which was pretty funny to see in the names, because okay, this term sounds familiar, and when I Google it, okay, now I know why.
Interesting. I will definitely add it to my I accidentally closed it, to my to read list. Just give me a second. And since we're speaking about the books, let me first of all add to my read list, and also recommend the book Endurance. So this is a book that I started listening. And first of all, I highly recommend Audible book. This is the format for this. It's really nice vocalized. And interestingly, this is a book that I would recommend for managers. If you really hate...
Is it fictional or non-fictional?
It is biopic if you want.
Okay.
And I will tell you a little bit more. But I would recommend it to managers who hate classical management books. So if you hate just management book that tells you things that, and for some, I know many managers who are like that, it's boring. Like reading the classical management book is boring. So this is about the ship that got strangled in the North Pole, and they effectively stay for the North Pole around several years. The whole ship.
Is it one that was used for TV show?
I don't know. If it is, I don't know. Maybe. But this is based on the real story when the people stranded on the North Pole for several years, literally, and have to survive that. And Captain, by the way, all of them survived. So spoiler alert, sorry. I should have said spoiler alert in the beginning. I haven't finished it, but nevertheless, I just know the story, and you probably can find it fascinating on the Wikipedia. So the story is really nice. And there is so many management skills, because really what I have found from my experience with some military studies, everything is connected. Military is very similar to management very similar to survival. You constantly working in unknown hostile environment with limited resources and many randomness in the environment. And this is exactly the case. Just to give you an example. So there was this guy in the ship that was, and as I said, the whole premise is ship has crashed in the North Pole and they stuck there for several years. They have to survive. And there was this guy that was carpenter, I think. He was in charge of carpets or something. I don't remember exactly. And he was the most pessimistic and annoying guy. Any comment would be really, really horrible. But we're all going to die. Why don't you see that it's not going nowhere? And when they effectively built their housing, so to speak, a very small housing, tents where they would be living, they all would have partners. And partners who live with you, it's everything. It's your family. All the tasks will be split among these tents. So each tent would have a task for several people to complete, because there was a decent chance that one of them dies during the completion. Mm-hmm. And so this would be a family. And the captain actually to choose to live with the most annoying people, including this carpenter, because he didn't want this to spread. The panic, the pessimisticity. So he wanted to, but at the same time, he, as a manager, realized that he cannot, quote unquote, fire them under these circumstances. He had to uplift the team, and this is methodic that he applied. And like these whole 2 years can teach you almost everything that, sure, like the management book will condense it, it will get you even more lessons. But if you really, really cannot force yourself to read it, read this book. It's really nice.
Okay, so sounds like a good advertisement. I googled another book. So the TV series called, there is a small TV show about this book, but one I watched called The Terror, and it's actually based on a different book, which based on I guess a different. It looks like it's very famous, or like very popular thing to stuck in ice for a few years.
So tell me about The Terror, because
it's pretty much, I would say, the same. Maybe like maybe it's the same story. I don't know, but again, like two ships went to Arctic. They tried to find some special way between ices, and they stuck. Everything would be fine, but there was a monster. In TV series, they make like a separate monster, but it's more like a white bear. And another issue was that the food they use, they have a canned meat, and it contained oh my god, I forgot name. Plumbum.
Plumbum, I don't know.
What is the English name from plumbum?
Plumbum, I don't know any. I have no idea what this means anyway. Plumbum.
Lead. Plumbum, it's Latin or Greek for lead. Essentially, okay. They didn't have enough food because the food was poisoned. So they have a choice. Okay, eat poisoned food or do something.
Got it. Interesting. Since we're speaking about this time of the film, there is a Netflix film, Snow Society, I think. I don't remember. Yeah, Snow Society. So highly recommend this. Also a completely real story about the rugby team that was flying over the mountains and crashed.
My question, like, is it better than original one?
I have not watched the original one, but I can say that this one is really good.
Okay, there was like an original movie, but it's old, like maybe 30 years old.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I cannot speak about this one, but that one. But this one is really, really good. I highly recommend. Oh, I see.
You can see live. Yeah.
1993 and
it's 30 years. I
But okay, so let's do live comparison. So this one has IMDb rating of 7.1 and Society of the Snow has IMDb 7.9. So here you go. So it looks like this one better, but again, I haven't seen the old one. Coming back to the books, I want to recommend Why Apollo Was a Success. Another great book if you want to read something that also educational, again, from the management angle, but nevertheless. And this is a small book, like 84 pages, because it's actually was written by the engineer. One of the engineering staff, maybe not the engineer exactly, maybe the PM or manager or whoever, but someone from the engineering staff who was very short, concise, but to the point. What they did in Apollo, what the lesson they learned, kind of would highly recommend. Interesting book, and again, short, so you can read it in one go. Mm-hmm.
So I didn't read it. My question, because there's often like cognitive trap for people that when something happens, I don't know, it's like retrospective bias. When you think about something and you try to find the reasons, like why it's happening, and you just pick random reasons and then pretend they actually lead to it. Like, hey, because our director was wearing yellow pants, that's why we succeed.
Oh yeah, I don't look on these books like Simulacra, by the way, the previous one for Stuck in the North Pole. I don't endurance, right? I don't look on them that because you do this, you have succeeded. There is tremendous amount of luck and tremendous amount of hard work. Both of them need to coexist. But within these bigger stories, there is usually a smaller stories, like how you deal with a toxic person. You know, it's always these small stories. They are coherent. They are consistent with each other, and these are the stories that I really like. And some of the stories, you know, when you're reading the fiction books, why I hate fiction usually, it's really hard to distinguish story that author just can describe persuasive in the way that looks like this is real versus story that has originated from hundreds or even thousands years of human experience distilled in this one story.
I see.
So endurance and these two, they are more like a second type, where everything there feels like, yes, it's genuine, it's useful, it's not just made feel like it's useful by some author. But sure, on the grand scheme of things, either of the book cannot tell you the way how you deal with the toxic person, help you to survive 2 years, or help that is questionable, all questionable. But the smaller story within the book, oh yeah, they all have tons of the lessons.
I see. Okay, thanks for the recommendation.
Okay, so where is the topics? Games. Let's go to the game section. We have quite a few. We have 3 topics for the game section with your in the start. Evil West, my friend. Tell me why evil is so West. Or
so it's actually a game that came up like 2 years ago, or like a year and a half. I only started to play because it gets free on PlayStation Plus, and I found it's really interesting game. Not interesting, like I really like it. It's a big game in terms of it's made with a somehow medium small budget by a small team, and it's just grab whatever was good in old games. Like it's a linear game. There is no like open world, nothing like this. There are pretty cool characters, actors like not super famous, but they're good. Like voice acting is fine, and there's a pretty simple plot. And you just go through it, like there's like a different scenes, like really cool fighting. It somehow reminds me God of War in terms of you have like different weapons, you have melee, and like different enemies. Again, it's not crazy, nothing really super expensive, but I really played like 5-6 hours, and I really want to finish it because I feel it's pretty short. And the setup of game is simple. It's like a Wild West, but there are vampires and different monsters, and you play as a guy who works for Institute who try to fight them. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So if you want like some old school shooter action game, which is pretty small, this is it.
You know, you remind me with this explanation Gears of War. Like
yeah, this is this type of the game. I think in other, like they probably get some inspiration. There was a game called Order 1880. No, it's like 18.
Oh, 18, okay.
Yeah. It was a really cool game on PlayStation. Back then, it was like graphics was just mind-blowing. Like it's PS4 era, start of PS4 when games weren't good, but that game like was super amazing with cool demolitions, with it's like advertisement.
There's someone revisiting the game, yes, and it's.
Yeah. And the game looked like very awesome. Like destruction was really cool. It was like linear and with really dramatic story. Evil West more on like a action fun side rather than dramatic, but they definitely pick some inspiration from Order.
Got it. I haven't played either of them, but do have played with Gears of War, and feels like what you describe actually very close.
Yeah, it's the only difference. Like Gears of War, I think use covers a lot. This one is more like open arena. Like every time you fight enemies, it's usually like a small arena, so you move between arenas.
Got it. But to be fair, Gears of War is AAA game, like proper AAA game, which I highly recommend if you have not played. I will probably check this out because I like time. Yes, Call of Duty. Another classical linear game. Go from point A to B and kill everyone.
Yeah. But this one, I can recommend. Like again, I probably wouldn't play it unless because it's like I wouldn't pay for this. But I tried it free and really like it. So the game, they also don't ask for full price. I believe it's like a medium priced game, and I think it's like pretty good adventure for a few days.
You know, since we're speaking about the games, I just realized that I want to share one that I forgot to even add to the topic. So there is this game for the mobile phones only. Okay. It's called Simulacra. The name is stupid. I wouldn't want to admit that. Wait, it exists on the Steam. So I'm pretty sure it's ported. Yes, this is one. I'm pretty sure it can be ported to anything, but... So, have you heard about this genre of lost phone type of the games?
No.
Oh man, if you haven't heard about this, this would be probably the best entrance to the genre. So the whole genre is a puzzle, usually puzzles, and the puzzle goes like that: you founding someone's phone. And because it is a phone on your phone, the game simulates your phone. So when you're clicking on the game app, it's actually full screen UI of another phone, right? So it's like simulate the phone. And usually it's different premises. Quite often you found someone's phone and that person in danger, and you need to figure out by, for example, chatting with someone, what's happening. Like you reviewing the life of that person. And this specific game is a horror. You found the phone of someone that you slowly realizing got possessed by some spirit or whatever. And I must say, the game is old. Like, it was released in 2017, and after Simulacra, there was second and third installment. And many of the things obsolete right now, but it's still, if you're actually playing with the headphones, it is still scary as shit in some of the cases. Not all the screamers are there, but you know, it's like playing Silent Hill. Silent Hill, when it was released, it was scary not because someone is jumping in front of you, but because of the overall atmosphere that it creates. And I don't want to spoil how they create this atmosphere, because there is not that many. When you're actually creating psychological horror, there is not that many pivotal moments that can scare you. You're slowly building atmosphere, and then you're breaking it with something like, oh shit, this is creepy moments, because you cannot just jump someone on you, because that would be the cheaper thing. So there is not that many pivotal moments, but there is a few that's still scary in this game. And maybe not scary, but yeah, it's a little bit cheating. I haven't played the second version, I haven't played the third one, but the fact that 2 more installments exist is a good sign that the game was successful. I would not recommend playing it on without the headphones and on any device except your phone. Because yes, this fact that it's meme.
Sound. It reminds me, like, once I found a phone, but it was locked. It was iPhone, and it was locked. And I tried to find the owners of it. I found it on a railway station. So owner went to train, and phone has notifications. And notifications wasn't blocked. Like you can see text, and by names and like from people writing, I tried to I found the people who related to this person, then found the person. So to say, hey, I have your phone.
This reminds me, iOS new protection feature. Have you heard about this latest feature that just got out? Yeah, there was several articles why Apple is doing so. I think this is the one, January 24th. Yes, the 25th. This is the one. So I highly recommend you, after upgrading the iOS, dear listeners, to switch on the stolen device protection. And the whole idea that even if someone entering passcode in your device, they still will not be able to do some of the actions without the face recognition. This is important because turns out, and by the way, these some actions will only be enforcing face recognition if you're geographically outside of your home, which is also important. So it's like increasing level of protection outside of the home. And the reason being for that, obviously all the people who stealing phone have figured out that they cannot crack usually the passcode from the Apple. So what they do, some of them opt out to not to steal Apple devices. That's for sure, and this was the whole reason. But unfortunately, some percent opt in, not only to steal them, but to be more violent in actually forcing you to tell them the passcode. So they're threatening people's life to get the passcode. When the person give the passcode, they trying to then obviously releasing the person because they really don't want to kill or harm the person. But until the person gets home with the passcode, they can do tons of the shit.
Okay, so now they need to threat people not to give passcode, but also to unblock phone.
Sure, but it was either they have to force the person constantly stay with them to do some of the stuff and constantly showing their face, yes, which is also a possibility. But at least for some time until the bad guys realize that this is what's happening, yeah, you will be a little bit more safe. So hopefully what this will mean that even more percent will opt out to stall Apple devices, and very small percent of thieves will opt in to do their really horrible shit.
For many things, even before I think when you buy, for example, something in the Apple store or like make a payment, payment was using passcode. But for example, payments was using passcode. Yeah, you're right.
Everything have an option, either face or passcode. Now for some of them outside of the home, you will not have this option.
I see.
So yeah, we'll see how it works. We'll see how useful it is, but yeah. Anyway, we deviated from the game topics. We have several more things that I want to cover. First of all, actually, this is even a very minor thing. I have finished Alan Wake, and I have committed to finishing Control. I really, really want to finish at least once. Yeah, I really want to finish at least once. And the second topic, which actually, no, I opened it up. I don't have anything to show about this. I am creating my own game. Yes, I have created a game that we already played with my co-workers at work in the office several times. I played with my wife, and so far everyone loves it. So here's the concept. Let me describe the concept. The concept in a nutshell, it's a card game, very similar to Magic the Gathering, but it actually mimics the in real world investment. So you actually trying to play investment, and the whole idea that it's not only teaching you how to invest, you can start small in a very basic setup. It has only very basic investment instrument where you learning how to buy, sell, and how the market price actually created, and it absolutely consistent with real world. And then on top of that, you slowly started getting introduced to options, to futures, to bonds, to different strategies. And similar how in the Magic the Gathering, you have to build your deck. The idea here is exactly the same. Like on each level, you can add financial instruments in the shape of the cards, and you can start playing with those cards with your friends. It's an interesting because I'm trying to start figuring out how to publish it, where to print the cards, how to do it. Obviously, I printed on my printer for the sake of the playing the first time, but I'm getting very close to stabilizing the first set of rules and actually printing the first paper cards with the right quality and start distributing.
Nice.
So that's TLDR, but one thing I want to say, I'm not going to have the first version of this game before I play it with you, so I can collect your feedback, because yes, you have probably the most amount of experience of anyone who I know in the gaming industry. So would love to hear your feedback.
Okay, would be really nice to play. I'm always amazed like how people create like a desktop games, especially like a good one. So it would be nice to play.
Yep, 100%. I'm looking at our topics. Anything on your mind, my friend, before we move forward? So OpenAI have several features that I wanted to brag about. Not the brag, just to share about, because one of them I'm actually using. No, both of them actually using. One is workspaces. So workspaces, and it's called enterprise feature, but actually anyone can use it. You don't have to be an enterprise. So this is a proper enterprise grade support, and it costs a little bit more, but it finally have in terms of services agreement that they will not be using your chats for training. So this was critical for me where I was using API. Now this is longer there. There is only two catches. One why, and both of them why I was not able to use them immediately after they have released it. One, when you're creating a workspace, so now the question, what do you do with your personal space? Because you probably have GPTs. GPTs will stop working if you canceling your subscription.
Oh.
So like, what do? You're now paying for both, for your enterprise subscription and personal subscription, for like, why? For just keeping the GPTs. So that was the first reason. The second one, you actually cannot do it alone, in the sense that workspace requires you to have at least 2 users in the workspace. So perfect for family. Like if you have a family and you need several subscription, that is the way to go.
But do you pay per user or do you pay per user?
Yes, you do pay per user. It actually costs $5 more, so 25 per user. But there is 2 improvements. First thing that I want to mention, this is extremely important for me, no leaking your data. That actually in terms of service says that they're not going to reuse it for the training, so this anywhere. So your data is thirsty data. Second one is they have a much higher GPT-4 quotas. So if you are like me, who constantly running out of quotas, that's the way to API, or this is the way. And so effectively they have released it quite recently. I tweeted about the fact that I don't like this. I don't like these 2 limitations because I do not know what to do with my GPTs. I have thousands of them. And finally, it looks like there were so many people that they sent an email saying that we now enabling migration. So you can migrate GPTs from your personal account to workspace, one-time procedures, merging in, and it will just work. Everything is fine. I did exactly that. I canceled my personal subscription and instantiated the enterprise. There was only one caveat for which I want really to kill OpenAI, guys. Like, that was really stupid. So let me ask you. So you have your GPT. Like, imagine you have GPT that allows you to, I don't know, paint pictures. It is public, so it's available in marketplace.
Okay.
Now you're saying I want to transfer my personal account to this workspace. You're clicking the button. Yes, migrate it.
It became private with a different ID.
Okay, ID is the same. At least ID is the same. But it became only visible for the workspace members. I have several users reach to me like, what the fuck? I'm using this GPT constantly. And I like, okay, what the fuck indeed? Like, what have happened? It took me quite a while to realize that they now introduced permission number 4. Before it was private for people with link, and public, which means published when working in the marketplace. In the workspace, they have permission number 4, which says public, but for only people in your workspace. And this is a default when they're migrating any of your personal GPTs to the workspace. I don't know what to say. Yeah, it costed me several hundreds of new chats that user have not started.
You know, they removed, like, before OpenAI has this clause not to work with military or with government. I don't remember. Recently they removed it. So for them, you may soon be very small customer, and they wouldn't care about you.
And by the way, I do support this decision. I formally support. I actually have a license on GitHub in my personal repository that says that I allow any of my repositories and any of my things be used by U.S. government for any use case, including military. Not any other government, just U.S. But nevertheless, that's my
including surveillance on you.
Fine, go on. If they need to, I have nothing to hide. Let them do it. Okay, so this is one. There is another one feature that they released for GPT Plus subscribers, which I have found really, really interesting. So you now can actually type, and by the way, I don't know if they roll it out to everyone. I think so, but you now can type @ and you can reference any GPTs. So you can start a chat and you can ask another GPT to comment. And that another GPT will have all the context and will comment on you. It's an amazing feature. Already using it highly, because in the same chat you can ask and match different GPTs and be asking different questions.
I'm curious, will they add feature like when you ask question first time, they pick appropriate GPT before that?
I think it would be reasonable. It's probably will be really hard to implement if you are actually going to release it on the marketplace level, but I think it's a reasonable thing to try to do. Yep. Okay, there is a whole set of topics about investing that I really want to skip. Not for today, because we're actually slowly getting the first full hour. I want to speak about motorcycle that I recently have almost test drive, but I sat on this, I tried it from all angles, and this is Harley Pan America motorcycle. This is effectively a competitor of BMW. I must say that Harley doing an amazing job of competing with BMW in this adventure bike category. It's an amazing. And first of all, don't trust me, because I actually have not tried either of them. I haven't drove this, I haven't drove BMW. But here is my reasoning why I recommend here Harley Davidson. They only entering the touring and the adventure bikes by segment. So this means that they are selling under price. And there is evidence that this is true. And here is a specific evidence. If you go right now on the Harley Davidson, so when they start, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I already see price 17,000, and it's probably the lowest one against all Harley Davidsons.
Correct. Yes. And this is actually not the full story. So when they started, they have two models: Pan America, that was even cheaper, and Pan America Special, which was higher. And they actually have so high demand that there is no longer Pan America normal. They only have higher price. And the story doesn't end there. So 20,000, or like starting at, right, this is a starting point for Special. They used to have starting 30K, 13K. It was really low for Harley, because they wanted to penetrate market. And the story doesn't end there, because they try it, and if you look right now, they release CVO. And for listeners who are not familiar with the Harley, CVO is custom vehicle something, or I don't remember what it stands for. It. This is effectively the exactly same Harley, but with higher price materials and a lot of custom builds where there's factory builds. So it's just same bike, same specs, but just higher end materials, a lot of plugins just installed out of the box, and premium touch if you want. Okay. So they're usually adding CVOs on something that sells extremely well, where they want to introduce premium category for the stuff with the same engine, same everything effectively. So they just have announcement last week, and they have CVO Pan America. They completely discontinuing normal Pan America, and for me this means that this sells like crazy. But even though you cannot now have normal Pan America, only Special, there is a huge aftermarket. I can walk into Harley Davidson and buy 12K Pan America Harley non-Special, which is like 6,000 miles on it.
Div, like question, like which I should ask first, like, but do you plan to use it as like part, like not off road, but using like on a gravel roads, like goes to some like non-asphalt roads? Like how do you plan to use it?
Yes, turns out, and I might find it quickly, turns out that around me and the East Bay, there is several people who are actually practicing on the off-roads with a bike, with the bikes. One is Carnegie Sviera. Let me try to find it quickly. Carnegie Sviera. So this is a place that I have not heard of, but apparently it has tons of the motorcycle trails, ranged on from the beginning to the experienced people. And I wanted to try several of them, and I tried to take my Indian Scout on several off-road trips. It's ended badly in the sense that I just started, and after maybe 20 feet from the entrance of off-road, I just drove back, because the wheels that it has completely unprepared. Yeah.
But are you sure Pan America will handle these roads fine without special tires?
Yeah, that's the question. Without special tires, so by default, Pan America has many of the tires, including mixed usage. Indian Scout does not. Like you cannot find normal tires for a front.
Yeah, obviously Indian Scout not for these roads, and it's too low as well.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. So yeah, maybe it will not work by default, but so what? I will just end up buying another set of tires, and that's fine. And what is even more interesting, I have actually found several neighbors on my street that have bikes that going to off-road periodically to that specific place. That was
What bikes they have?
They actually have something from Yamaha 1-cylinders for the off-road specifically. Yeah, I haven't went anywhere, just new connections that, by the way, completely random connections. The guy who was making refacing on our kitchen and making an estimate for refacing our kitchen, turns out his brother is our neighbor that has a motorcycle. They're going to off-road who connected us.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a really crazy. Anyway, this is probably all I wanted to share today. I don't have too many other things. My friend, anything you want to add or share on top of what we have discussed today?
Nope. I think we're good.
Okay, then let's just end. There is 2 minutes left for minus 2 minutes to an hour, and I'm looking at the set of the topics. Nothing that can be easily squeezed into like 8 or 7 minutes. We can just spill it over to the next podcast.
Yep.
Okay, in this... Oh, wait. Comments. Maybe someone asked us something, nothing on the YouTube, and let me see the Discord, and inside of the Discord has also great nothing. With that, thank you folks for nothing, and we will talk to you same place, same time next week. Say bye.
Bye.
See you folks. Okay, recording is, and just give me a sec. I will finish live.